Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is the case of the Idaho quadruple murders. May the victims rest in peace. Condolence to their families, and may justice be served. What happened to these 4 beautiful victims? What was going on in Kings Road? I see happy faces, but yet again, it doesn't seem to me that everyone seems to be happy. I know it's a picture, everyone has different style, but you can see the 3 victims and their smiles, the beautiful smiles. They seem to be comfortable. They seem to be happy. They seem to be loving life. But Bethany and Dylan always seem to be the odd ones in pictures taken together. Is it because they haven't lived that long in this house and that the roommates know each other? The 3 victims know each other from before? Or is there some kind of jealousy, issues going on? The reason I ask is because Xana Canodal asked the father to change her locks. I wonder why. Did she feel unsafe? Let's not forget, Xana lives in the 2nd floor and there's only 2 rooms in the 2nd floor. Apparently, Dylan, we were told at the start, lives in the room below. We weren't told that she saw anything, but when the affidavit came out and Brian Koberger got arrested, we heard a totally different story. We heard that Dylan was actually a witness. But the police are still confusing us if they were witness or if they were not. The police said, I didn't say they were witness, the surviving roommates. I said they were just there. They were just there. Remember that. Why were they just there? And how come they did not hear the quadruple murders going on? We are talking about 4 young lives taken. 2 of them had defense wounds. So there was a fight. There were fights actually. The dog was barking. It was a mayhem going on in the house, but yet we were told that BF was sleeping. Was this a setup? Is this a cover-up? Allegedly. Was this an inside job? Someone on the inside had to know something. I'm not accusing anyone. This is for entertainment purpose only. I'm just asking the questions that nobody wants to ask. What was actually going on in this house? Why is DM's father saying that she's being harassed? Nobody's harassing her. We just want to know, the longer it goes, the lesser sense it's making for us. We were told that this house was targeted. The residence was targeted, or the victims were the targets. Today I'm just asking it out straight out. Was there drugs in this house? Was there diamonds? Was there gold? Was there weapons? Allegedly. For your house to be targeted, we know that people rob, they're robbers, they're thieves. Every house gets robbed once in a while, especially when you're on a holiday or vacation. But this wasn't the case here. We know it was a party house. Let's be frank. Half of the campus used to come in and out of the house. I remember clearly that the driver who drove Kaylee and Maddie home said at the start, and I've shown you the article, he said that he has driven people here to buy drugs. Trigger warning. What was going on? Just because the house was off campus, they were still students, they were still young people. The police used to come here a couple of times. They've been there that we know of because of noise complaints. We've seen Emma, Bailey, and Demetrius, who overdosed the boy, a 19-year-old boy, with cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. What happened? How did they beat the charges? Do they have influence inside? Are they informers? Allegedly, what is happening? Sigma Chi. Greek lifestyle. What was this place about? The reason I ask is because in 3 separate parties, 2013, then you have 2022, what's his name? Hudson Lindo attended a party here and he was found dead in Paradise Creek. He attended a party actually in Delta, another fraternity. We have the girls. We've had the girls, Maddie, Xana, Maddie's boyfriend Jake, Anne, Jack, John Showalter. They all attended this party the same night. Hudson Lindo was found dead. Hudson Lindo took a picture near Kings Road, the victim's house. We had the victim in 2013 that they said got disorinated and he was found dead at the Paradise Creek. Are these fraternities sacrificing people? Allegedly. What are they up to? David Lodge and the other David B, I believe, had fantasies about unliving people. The 4chan post said that, and it seems, the more I look into it, the more sense it makes. They said they were going to take 19 minutes to unlive their targets. Wasn't this a targeted crime? Wasn't that what the police said? The chief at the start? Wasn't that what the prosecution, Bill Thompson, said? It was targeted. One of the Davids lives in one of these windows here, allegedly, because his window is facing King's Road. He said, we'll wait for the lights to go off on the second and third floor, and then we'll continue with what we're going to do. They said they will make sure that they don't take any phones. We saw 5 to 4 figures running at 3:12. Are we supposed to take all that as coincidence? I don't think so. We saw the Banfield stop, which isn't far from Sigma Chi. There was a fight in the Sigma Chi. Eaton was involved. Xana was obviously defending her boyfriend. We saw Saeed in the Banfield stop. Why was the Sigma Chi under investigation? Why were they on probation? What did they do? Is someone covering up for them? Because let's not forget, if the students are charged for the quadruple murders, that messes up the income of Idaho, Moscow. 40 to 45% of the income comes from the students. When the president of the Sigma Chi was interviewed by reporters, he clearly said, we don't have cameras here. Is that on purpose, or did they put off their cameras? Was this a crime of passion, allegedly? Was this about jealousy, hate, and fantasizing to kill, allegedly? This was brewing up. Were the Davids jealous of Xana and Eaton, his relationship? That could be a crime of passion. Didn't the mayor say that? Who was the targets and why was it targeted? Why was the residence targeted? Let's not forget, according to the 4chan, they wanted 3 victims. They had 3 targets: Eaton, Xana, and Maddie. They even got upset when the news spread around that Kaylee was a target. They said, no. That she was just there at the wrong place at the wrong time. Were these boys properly investigated? I don't think so. What was the alibi? Some of them were at the food truck. Some of them were at Banfield alcohol minor stop. They refused to even stop for the police. What was going on here? The 4 to 5 figures running is what makes it blatant that they're involved. Was those 4 or 5 figures ever investigated? Is the question.
Accident. Let's not panic, And I remember texting Kaylee. To see if she was okay. And she obviously didn't ever respond because it was 10 in the morning.
Eva texted her friend Kaylee to see if Kaylee was okay. But obviously, tragically, Kaylee was a victim, like Maddie, Zan, and Ethan. It was 10 in the morning. Please make sure you'll pay attention to that. 10 in the morning. So the frats, the sororities, they all knew about it at 10 in the morning. The police were the last people to know it. How about that? When I say it was an inside job, I really mean it was an inside job. For the students to know it, for the surviving roommates to know it, this was a cover-up. I'm saying it out there today, allegedly. A proper cover-up and a proper clean-up. The surviving roommates are not witness, are now victims, because I'll show you why.
Just to follow up on what she asked, so the other two roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information that we have from our investigation is that yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That is correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there. So, we don't know why that call came in at noon and not in the middle of the night. Would have we loved for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still to try to pull all the pieces together.
The chief Fry said, I don't think I ever said they were witnesses. They were just there. So when did Dylan become a witness? When did she move from the first floor to the second floor? What did Dylan actually see? Allegedly. The description she gave of what she saw, bushy eyebrows, a mask, and now her father says it was a ski mask instead of a surgical mask. What is going on? So if the surviving roommates are now witness, why are they acting like witness? Why are we told that they're witness? When did they become witness? 7 weeks later? Because they weren't witness at the start. This is from the chief's own mouth. These are the facts. Once they're witness, once the surviving roommates, no, they're not witness, no, they're not surviving roommates. One was in the first floor, no, two was in the first floor. They were sleeping, no, they weren't sleeping. What is actually going on? These 4 victims need their justice. Why were they their targets? Why exactly those 4 witnesses? My theory, allegedly, this is only my theory, is that all 4 victims were targets. And the house is a target. The more I look into this case, the more I can see that the occupants were the targets and the resident was the target. The resident, because it definitely had something it should not have had. Nobody comes and does a quadruple unless something went wrong, and that is when you say follow the money. Some people say follow the drugs, allegedly. I say follow the money. Whatever was going on there had to do with money. But I don't believe it was all about money and drugs. Allegedly, I believe that the fraternity Greek lifestyle was involved. BF is an important witness. She was at the Sigma Chi when the fight broke out between Eaton and the other boys. The other young men. David Lodge is on steroids. We know the symptoms of steroids. People get very aggressive. He felt insulted by Eaton, and a fight broke out. The police were called to the Sigma Chi. Where were they called at 3:01? Eaton and Zana were supposed to be in the Sigma Chi from 9:45 to 1:45, allegedly. Did the Sigma Chi boys come after them? Did someone leave the door on purpose? Leave it open? There's a fingerprint there, a handprint. So that doesn't belong to the surviving roommates. Others, it wouldn't have been one of the three unidentified male DNAs. For someone to have touched that place, there had to be a fight exactly at that place. There was a glove found outside, and the latent footprint of the Van's shoe. Who leaves one shoe footprint behind? Why not two? That shows that there could have been possibly a cleanup. To take 8 hours to call the police, I'm sure something was in the house that DM and BF had to get rid of before calling the police. Allegedly. This doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. We heard the chief saying that they're not witness. They're not witness. He said they were just there. They were just there for 8 hours, texting each other, locking their rooms, knowing that they heard their friend crying and saying, I believe there's someone there. Isn't that a sign to lock your room and call 911 immediately? But no, these young women decided after 8 hours to call the Sigma Chi boys. Why? Are they running the investigation? Or did they take part and have involvement in this quadruple case, allegedly? All the neighbors that are close by are saying they didn't hear anything. The dash cam showed that they heard a thud and a dog barking. How could they not hear that? People were fighting for their lives. Zana defended herself. May she rest in peace. What is going on? It's like nobody saw anything. Nobody heard anything. It took 8 hours or 9 hours to call the police after the Sigma Chi boys were called. Was drugs involved? Was this a cartel hit? Allegedly. Was someone inside, in the inside working with the Sigma Chi boys? We know the Greek lifestyle. Have parties. We hear steroids in this case. We hear drugs in this case. There's no facts and proofs. But allegedly, it's starting to sound like something of that sort could have happened because the residence was a target. The students were a target. I mean, the victims. Why? I believe it was two separate hits. I hate to say that because this was a hit. Are all these neighbors trying to say they didn't hear anything?
Moscow PD investigating a homicide on King Road near campus.
Somebody had done something really bad. He said, I think Ethan's dead. And then we walked out into the courtyard and somebody said that Xana was dead.
My niece said something bad has happened to Kaylee. So then I started calling Maddie.
At this point, we didn't have any answers. Like, we didn't know anything.
So everyone knew in the campus that the 4 victims were dead. Allegedly. But the police did not know. This was a local. This was the fraternities, allegedly. Were the 4 students sacrificed? Allegedly. Were the 4 students involved in something they shouldn't have been? Or did someone put out a hit for them? Did the Sigma boys actually got their fantasy that they were fantasizing about? Unliving people. 3 targets. Not 1, not 2. 3 targets. That's a reason I say the Sigma Chi boys need to be investigated. I'm not saying BK did not do this crime. I'm still researching about BK because there's many things that doesn't make sense with him. But he had no motive. So if BK did this crime, he was involved with somebody who knew the students, somebody who wanted to unlive them. That's the reason I believe it could be 2 separate hits. So if they did it according to the 4chan, what they said, that means it's pre-planned. They had a motive. What motive would BK have? Unless his motive was to prove that he's an excellent student in a crime scene. That could make sense. But when BK is accused of this horrific quadruple murders, one thing doesn't make sense. The previous timeline said that the students were unlived between 3 to 4 a.m. That doesn't put BK in the scene. I believe something happened after 6 weeks, 7 weeks into this case. Because all of a sudden, Dylan and Bethany Funk become witnesses. Before, they were just there. That is exactly what the chief said. They kept on saying it was a targeted crime for 6-7 weeks. And then, after that, they said, no, it wasn't targeted. The mayor said it was a crime of passion. But later on, they said, no, it wasn't. What was it? Where's the motive? The Sigma Chi knew everything before anyone, because I think they predicted this in this 4chan. Are they sacrificing people? Allegedly? Because 2 boys were found in the Paradise Creek, especially Hudson, the story doesn't make sense. What is happening in the fraternities? Are they involved in illegal games, illegal businesses, like drugs? Were they storing the drugs in the girl's house allegedly? Did something go wrong? Was it possible that Maddie and Kaylee and Xana decided we're going to tell on them? Were they scared that someone's going to snitch on them? Why did Kaylee get the worst injuries? Kaylee bought her car on the 12th of November. She came to the university to show it to her friends and to the Alpha Phi, was it? Or Alpha Beta, whichever sorority she was in. Could it have something to do with that? Allegedly. Why was Kaylee calling Jack D? She didn't even add him in her Instagram, so why were they calling him? I don't think she was calling him to say, let's get back together, because she was ignoring him. She was leaving to Austin. She was moving to Austin. She wanted to come to Europe. Somebody was jealous of her, I believe. Was that a crime of passion? Did everyone who had beef with one person or the other gang up and do this crime themselves? It's very possible. Look at how many people were running that night. That looked suspicious. The whole grub truck looked like they were plotting against Kaylee and Maddie. May they rest in peace. I think Xana and Ethan were already held before the 2 girls came home, allegedly. These are all my thoughts, my speculations, so don't come for me. I'm just fed up of watching. The more I research, that all these suspicious people have something to do with it. Nobody wants to talk in the college because they knew that these 4 victims were targets. And if they talk, they become a target too. Allegedly. Trigger warning. Somebody was so evil to do this. So hateful. I'm sure it is a group of people. I don't believe it was one person. Even if BK is involved, he didn't do this by himself. He couldn't have unlived 4 people within a couple of minutes. He was seen around that area. Was he going to meet someone? Was he going to drop someone off at Queens Road or Kings Road? Was he asked to come by the surviving roommates? Maddie and Kaylee's wounds were very different to each other and different to the victims in the second floor. there was a sharp edge weapon use on Ethan. Why did Ethan's parents take another autopsy? Is it because they didn't trust the investigation and the autopsy results? Why does Ethan's mother say 2 a.m. is the most difficult time for them?
Revealing that before a 911 call was made, the 2 surviving roommates of a deadly rampage that killed 4 students summoned friends to the off-campus home near the University of Idaho, telling authorities they thought someone on the 2nd floor had, quote, passed out and was not waking up.
They woke up later in the morning. They recognized that something was amiss as far as they believed that the roommate wouldn't wake up.
Police say multiple people spoke with the 911 dispatcher before an officer arrived. Detectives do not believe they were involved.
I haven't seen the scene, and I'm not exactly sure what they saw in the morning. But what we believe we know is that when they woke up, they believed that the roommate was still passed out, wasn't responding.
That is a car light from Kings Road. And that was at 3 a.m. Pay attention to that car light. That was near in front of the girl's house, the victim's house, at 3 a.m. At 3:12 a.m., we had the 4 to 5 figures running. And we had the 4 boys, including Saeed, in the bandfield. We heard a female saying, "Stop, stop it, stop," she said. That was at 2:55 and 16 minutes. That was all happening around 3 a.m. It all started from 2:55 till we saw the figures running at 3:12 a.m. Brian Koberger wasn't seen there. The first time he was seen was 3:25, but he did not stop his car, according to the police. He left, and then he came back at 4:05. That is the reason that it doesn't make sense. They changed the timeline. The car that was in question was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. All of a sudden, it became a 2015 Hyundai Elantra. I remember in the news reports, it's hard to find this clip now. They said that it's heartbreaking because this was when the quadruple murders was going on. We can see the car shining bright. And remember, that's around 3:05 or 3:03, somewhere around those timings. And then we saw the figures running at 3:12. That's the reason I say it was 2 separate attacks, 2 separate incidents. It was like everyone who had something brewing with one of the victims came together as a team, allegedly. And that's not far-fetched, because we know the Greek lifestyle are involved sometimes with drugs, alcohol. The party house had something. Something was stored in there for it to be a target, allegedly.
Hello, Deputy Miller Sheriff's Office. Hello. Driver's license, vehicle registration. Reason we're chatting is running the red light.
Yeah. Oh, was it red?
Mine was green when you cleared the intersection.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was yellow when I went, so I'm sorry. It was yellow when I went. I'm sorry, I pictured red.
What does yellow usually mean?
Go slow.
Yeah, because it's changing. You gotta come to a stop.
My apologies, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're correct.
Do you have your vehicle registration?
Yes, I do.
Where are we coming from tonight?
Oh, just the, over in Emporium.
Okay.
In Pullman.
All right. How much have you had to drink tonight, Emma?
None.
You've had something.
Some?
Yeah, you've had some.
Not enough to drive.
Okay. Hop out for me, would you?
Okay.
Is your buddy in the back seat okay there? He's just head bobbing over there.
Oh no, it should be fine. Do you want me to turn my car off or?
You can leave it run for them.
Okay.
You got your stuff fell out, just so you're aware.
Sorry, my head didn't go off.
Okay. Just come stand right here for me. I'm just gonna knock those lights down for just a minute. They're super bright. To an attorney before answering any questions, you have the right to have an attorney present during the questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you without cost if you so desire. You can exercise these rights at any time.
As far as I know.
Okay. I'm just going to put a new timestamp on here. Oops. I hit the space bar and made the page go down. Come back.
Emma Bailey and Demetrius have both been involved in an overdose of a 19-year-old boy. They were arrested, but the charges were dropped. Why? Is she an informer? Allegedly. She has no mercy or empathy when she's selling drugs that is overdosing young people, young adults. She was seen in the house many times. Did she store something in the house that maybe their victims were not even aware of? Shakespeare said, "Show me a friend, I'll tell you who you are." If this woman was hanging around the house, she could have brought illegal substance there because she was arrested for that. We've seen her in the body cam footage when the police went to the girl's house for the noise complaint. So we can't say that Emma has nothing to do with it. We have to be observant to such people hanging around the house. She's not only a party person, she's a drug dealer. Trigger warning. So is Demetrius. How could she get away with the charges of someone being overdosed of fentanyl? Does she have influence around? Or is she an informer? Just a question. Did she set up the girls? Did the surviving roommates get threatened not to say anything? Or were they part of this? Please let me know. Please like, share and subscribe. Justice to the 4 victims, condolence to their families, and may the truth be exposed. If BK is involved, he deserves what's coming to him. But if he's being framed by the Sigma Chi boys and the Soretis and all these people around that we allegedly see who could have had more motive, Emma was in the house. She could have overdosed them. But guess what? The coroner said that a toxicological report is not necessary. Emma's from Washington Pullman. Did she know BK? Did she run into BK? Could she have framed BK? Or was she working with BK? Was BK involved in these crimes? Could he have done it alone? Was Brent Kopacker involved? Allegedly. Stay blessed, guys. Have a lovely weekend, and justice for the victims.